iPhone SE iOS 10.3.3 versus iPhone SE iOS 11 GM build. Coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to the final video between the iPhone SE versus the iPhone SE with the beta lineup or series. Well, this is not really a beta anymore, but we're going into official here on Tuesday. iPhone SE on the left does have 10.3.3 GM here on the right. So let's go ahead and boot these guys up at the same time in 3, 2, 1 and see which one gets there first. And let's go. And you should see both Apple logos do appear. It looked like the black one appeared first there on the left, but we're gonna see which one is quicker. Now, I did mention in my GM review the other day of iPhone SE that it did get much better and much closer to what we were gonna expect on stock official software when it does arrive on the 19th, but let's see how much better it is. So no, 10.3.3 is still faster so far, and there's the SE on 11 GM, but GM is pretty smooth. We're gonna see in this video. Okay guys, so I like to start off with some simple things like unlocking the lock screens to see which one does respond a little bit quicker. And you can see it's about the same on both devices here, so no differences there. What about the fingerprint scanners now? So fingerprint scanners look like it was slightly to 10.3.3. Let's try that one more time. And you could see, actually it might be 11. So let's do this one more time here on both devices. And no, 11 is slightly faster when it comes to the fingerprint scanner animation speed. So that's pretty good there. Now you've seen there's a little lag here, and that's pretty much the only lag I can find on the iPhone SE is the widget tray, and that's only after you first boot it up on iOS 11 GM. But in terms of the control center actually feels more smooth on iOS 11 than it does on 10.3.3. So at least there's one thing there that's a little bit better, as well as the notification tray. That also feels a little bit smoother there on iOS 11 in my experience. I like how it bounces a little bit in 10.3.3, but it just feels more liquid smooth on the iPhone SE for iOS 11 GM. So let's go ahead and confirm their softwares now. So going in the settings here, if I go into general over here on the left, you can see this does have 10.3.3. You can see right there 10.3.3. If I go over here and I go to about section on this iPhone SE, you can see iOS 11 15A 372, no A at the end, signifying we are basically in the official version here now. So going through multitasking, no issues there, but I'm gonna close that stuff out and let's go ahead and run some application speed tests now. So I have all the same applications lined up on both. Everything is closed out. Let's begin with the calendar in 3, 2, 1. And you can see the calendar looks first on iOS 11. Let me know if I'm wrong on any of these. Sometimes I miss them. What about clock? You can see clock looks to be first on iOS 11 as well. What about calculator? And you can see that looked about the same if you ask me. So let's go ahead and go into settings here on both devices. And that one looked like it was iOS 10.3.3. What about Safari? So Safari looked a little bit quicker on 11. Let's go ahead and go into the next application, which will be the camera on both devices. And that one was quite even if you ask me coming out of there. Let's go ahead and go into weather on both. And you can see weather looks pretty even as well. So what about Instagram? So Instagram looks first here for the iPhone SE on the right. Let's go ahead and go into App Store on both devices. And you can see App Store loads first there on the right. It looked like for iOS 11 GM, you're gonna get this nice new bigger App Store with bigger cards, just a lot easier to use on a smaller 4-inch screen coming with iOS 11. So what about the phone dialers? So going in the phone dialers, that looked like iOS 11, bigger, bolder fonts here in iOS 11 as well. And what about Twitter? So going into Twitter here, you could see Twitter does load first there. Wow, that was pretty close. I think that was the right though. What about Snapchat on both devices? And you can see Snapchat looks slightly quicker on the right for iOS 11. So let's go ahead and go into YouTube. And you can see YouTube loads first there on the right. What about Amazon? So let's go into Amazon. And you can see Amazon is ready to go on the left. So you can see it's basically on par with both of these devices are pretty much similar when it comes to the performance here on the GM build. So this is a good sign for those of you who did want to try iOS 11. You don't want to stay with your older version. Your iPhone is definitely catching up now here with this latest version. It's no longer like beta where it was like twitchy and buggy on a lot of things and it just wasn't as fast as 10.3.3. This video showcases that you're pretty much on par with the performance of the prior version. So we can go through multitasking here just a little bit, but it's going to be very similar on both devices. You can see things are just gonna hold in the background. Looks like the animations are slightly better there for 11, and I just expect 11 to get better over time with some dot releases. But let's go ahead and run a final Geekbench here for this speed test and see what they do on the scoring. I'll be back when these Geekbenches are done. Okay guys, so the final scores are in: 2575 on the single core for the left and 2551 on iOS 11 GM on the right. So a little bit lower on GM and even a little bit lower on GM for the multi-core at 4460 and 4461 for 10.3.3, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference. These devices are pretty much on par. I said there's a little bit of widget lag here going over to the left, but we will cover the iPhone SE full in-depth review of iOS 11. We're gonna go over the feature set for your phone and everything that's coming in, and not just, you know, speed and stuff like that. But right now we're just showing off the performance here in this video, and I hope this helped you decide if you're ready to go into iOS 11. If you do decide to go into the GM build, it's very easy to get right back into the official build. So you can go ahead and install this one now if you want to try it out and you don't want to wait till Tuesday. But anyway, this was the iPhone SE 10.3.3 versus iOS 11 GM. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button for me. Consider subscribing if you are new. I will catch you all in the next one. Be sure to be well, and peace.